What's up, friends? Welcome back. We're cruising forward with our live chat sessions. This is chat number 4. Um, this week, we're going to do basically every night for the rest of this week. And we'll continue pretty much right up until show date, which is on the 3rd of September. That is Metal for Africa. It's happening in Cape Town and in Johannesburg on the same date. Metal for Africa 2022. And yeah, we're going to also be doing a live stream of the Cape Town edition of the show, and probably most of that festival. So yeah, these live chats are a little bit of a warm up run, getting to be comfortable with the tech. Um, and today's special guest is Pieter Jordaan from Peasant, and they will be playing at the Joburg show. How's it, Pieter? Are you well, my brother?
You do.
Lekker, man. Sorry, I just want to quickly
Cool.
apologize to everyone about the strange buzz on the audio. We're still trying to work on get that fixed, but I believe you can hear Peter loud and clear.
Sounds good to me.
Great, 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 great. All right, dude. So you've actually just come back from Gauteng, and you're headed up there again soon. Tell us a bit about what your most recent trip was like.
It was awesome. Yeah, we did a well. The Friday was awesome. uh, um, yeah, the Friday we had in Joburg was at Sonage, which was a really killer show. Great turnout, venue's awesome. We're very excited to get back there and do our
Yeah,
thing. It's an amazing place if you've ever been. I don't know if you've been there, but
I
it's
haven't.
it's really, dude, it's
Yeah.
so cool. It's like it's the first time like that, and maybe Daisy Jones are the only places where I've been in South Africa where I'm like, oh shit, this feels like it could be the States or the UK or
Yeah, yeah,
something.
yeah.
It
So
feels
what are you
very
saying?
different
Our
to what
Cape
we're
Town
used
shows are
to.
not up to your par.
No, I'm just talking in terms of venues,
No, I'm
like
teasing. I'm
the
teasing. I know what you mean. Yeah,
yeah.
like establishments that are open for business, kind of like all year round.
Yeah. It feels like they've got like a I guess the people running the place have a good sense of how to put on a good show, and
Yeah,
they're really good at kind of working with artists and making them feel comfortable, and
yeah,
which goes a long way, which is really nice. Yeah,
yeah.
it's
Good.
really
Well,
cool. I'm
it's
very excited.
reassuring to know we made the right decision with our venue choice for the Joburg show.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. I
Yeah.
was gonna say that our Saturday show got stopped by the cops
Oh, no.
in Pretoria, which was
Yeah.
kind of a downer. Yeah, somebody complained and said we were too loud, and then the cops came and that sucked.
Too
But
loud.
yeah, I don't know, or it was too late or something. I didn't know there was like a curfew on the audio. Or
Yeah,
I
one
think it's
wouldn't
the kind
think.
of
Eh?
situation where they had like a bar license, but not a club license, a performance license or something. So there's always someone in the area that keeps complaining about. But whatever, it
Yeah,
happens.
yeah. But that actually raises an interesting question. I mean, let's not mention the venue's name for risk of naming and shaming. We don't really want to do that. um, but I am like, yeah, it does kind of get me going on a conversation I would like to have had with you tonight, anyways, which actually talks a bit about venues. Because Peasant, I mean, look, you've played obviously many of the conventional venues, which includes our festival, which is Metal for Africa. I know you've played Ramfest. So you guys have been on quite a variety of stages. But I do believe that Peasant, like part of your whole band mission or your vibe or your ethos, if we could call it that, still taps very much into the whole like DIY aesthetic. Is that right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like we almost have to, like as we still, even though our sound has changed quite a bit in the last couple of years, we're definitely more metal than we used to be.
Uh,
And I think, but I still consider us. I think we would all probably still consider us to be a hardcore band. And with that, it just means that like we take that stuff where. The atmosphere around the show and the fact that we are doing it ourselves is kind of almost as important to us as the music is. We're not
yeah.
really we don't really like relying on other promoters or other venues or people to kind of take care of that kind of stuff with us, not because we necessarily don't trust them, but we just prefer to do it our way and connect with bands that are a bit more in a DIY space or sense or whatever.
Yeah.
So along with that, that just means that we have to find different venues that are open to us bringing in sound and
Uh-huh.
making loud noise and being stupid, and that's part of the whole. That's pretty much part of the whole gig for us. Is just trying to keep that energy going and keeping that little community
Yeah.
going, because it's not necessarily like the punk thing or the metal thing where it's so, there's not that many people that are into it. So like for us to kind of hold on to it in our own way is quite important. So we do often play. I mean, Cape Town's changed so much now over the last
Yeah.
year or two with venues
Yeah, yes,
specifically. It's gotten pretty weird in terms of trying to find just a space to go in and make noise that's not like any regular venue. It's getting a little tough, but yeah, we're working on that. There's probably a good chance that we might book another show or two for the rest of the year in Cape Town. There's some stand-up stuff happening, and obviously the M4A stuff, which we're very stoked
Oh,
about.
yeah. So tell me then, this business of the DIY and the venues, like not always playing the conventional venues. I suppose sometimes you will run into a bit of like potential hiccups. Is that maybe what happened in Pretoria, or was that an established place that was just like an anomaly?
I think what happened is that we like so I didn't book the show. I'm not from there. I haven't played there before, and I don't know. I assumed that we were good for time that night when we weren't, and there's
Oh,
obviously
boy.
like a curfew situation,
Yeah.
and yeah, we didn't know about that, and no one there really told us
Oh.
about it. So
Oh, damn.
yeah, I guess it's as much the venue's fault as it is the cops, and it was just unfortunate. It just happened. It was
Yeah,
just a
no.
bummer because there were some people that were like quite keen to see us.
Yeah,
do,
dude.
like 4 songs.
And not to mention, it's a long
Uh,
trip for you to go and play.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. But it is your
But,
Friday night rocked.
Yeah, no, Friday was killer. And if anybody who is listening to this was there on that Saturday, you should do the signage on the 3rd of September and come check us out there.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you want to see some more,
Well, we're very happy to be giving you a Saturday night at Sonage very soon.
Yeah.
Oh, and that raises
Thanks,
a question. So, like, I've actually been pronouncing it up until tonight as Sonage, but you're calling it Sonage. What
Dude,
is
let me
correct?
tell you something. Like we, I hope I'm correct. I'm just guessing myself as well. It was so funny because when we played there, we played with some good friends of ours in another band called Da Beach Boys. It's another hardcore band from Joburg.
Yeah.
And while Tom, the singer, was kind of chatting through he was just saying thanks to everyone. And at one point he said, what did he say? He said, I want to thank the venue, but I'm not going to say your name in case I do it a disgrace by pronouncing it incorrectly. And then everybody in the crowd was like, yeah,
Yeah.
not bad for it. But
Classic.
besides that, like it's such a cool place, man. I'm really
Yeah.
excited to go back.
Yeah. Oh, well, I'm looking forward to seeing it myself someday. Who knows? Maybe as a performer
man.
myself. That would be nice.
Yeah, I'm sure you will.
Yeah. Cool, man. All right. So, yeah, you guys have been back to Joburg not too long ago. And I know you've done a bit of activity of your own, sort of like post-lockdown vibes down here in Cape Town. And obviously, yeah, like the wounds are still very fresh for a lot of us, like having been sort of under a rock for the last 2 years or so. Tell me a bit about what that experience was like for you guys getting through the lockdown. Was there some productivity, or did you take some time down? Were you guys stressed out? Give us a bit of an insight.
I think like most people, we were just wondering what was going to happen. I think there was like a half-a-year period where everyone, in music or otherwise, was just like, okay, is it going to be like next week that it's going to be cool? Or is it going to be like next month? Or is it going to be next year?
Yeah.
We just never knew, So I will say that there was probably about half a year where we didn't act. I mean, we've always, so I write most, if not all, of the music. So I've always got stuff that I'm working on.
Yeah.
And the funny thing was that we always had demos, and obviously it's very difficult to get together and kind of decide on what to do while you're apart and you can't really jam or do anything. But there was probably this half-a-year period where like I sat on there, and then I kind of had this set like a bit of a shift, and I was like, I actually just want to try and do something a little different,
Yeah.
which was what ended up being the last EP, Kingdom, the 3-track.
Yeah.
Um, and I'm quite proud of how they came out. I think it's probably our best release to date. It's definitely our most popular one.
Yeah.
So in a weird way, like lockdown was shit, but it gave me quite a bit of perspective in terms of like just songwriting, and I think the big thing was that was we'd been a band for like I don't know 5-6 years at that point, and then
It's quite a long time already.
you stop
if you
for
think
half
about
a
it.
year. Yeah, you stop for half a year, and then you kind of actually go, you don't do anything for or with the band for like half a year, and then in a weird way I got perspective on how other people maybe see our band by stepping away from it for a while.
Yeah.
So that then actually gave me a bit of like drive to be like, okay, cool, maybe we should try this, maybe we should try that. So I'm happy that happened. Obviously it sucks because we lost a lot of money and we didn't get to record as quick as we would have liked to, or as much as we would have liked to. But I'm happy that happened, and yeah, I think that kind of reflection and kind of just being a bit more self-critical when it comes to like putting out a music video or actually writing music or jamming or whatever is quite important. Like I think it's now a bigger deal to me and maybe to our band than it maybe was before, and like taking that energy moving forward now, post COVID is kind of it's been cool.
So what are you talking about in that? Like, I'm going to ask you not to misunderstand you, but to make sure I do understand you. When you say taking a bit more time, so you mean basically just because one thing I've actually admired about you guys right from the word go is that you've always been a very productive band. Like I think the first couple of years of your existence, you would like every year you would release like an EP or something until you got your first full-length album. But there was always a sign of like productivity, which I think for a young band, which at that time you obviously were, that's an amazing quality to show. But do you feel now with this experience that you would rather take more time to focus perhaps on like a higher quality output? Not that I'm bashing the previous stuff,
No,
but yeah, I'm
sure,
trying to get a
totally,
sense
like,
of what you were describing there to me.
I think the big thing is like as someone, especially as someone who writes most of the music, it's like you kind of get stuck in your lane for so long that you kind of you just feel like you need to write more, or you need to add more to the song, or you need to just you get into this kind of rut where you keep doing that thing. And what I think lockdown maybe taught me was that if you can write all the time, but it's not always going to be good.
Yeah.
You can make videos all the time, but you might not always have the money to make it good or do it yourself well or whatever it is. So taking definitely some time in between the the conception phase from songs to actually getting them out, whether it's like thinking is chatting with a band and figuring out what you want to do next, and then really trying to get that done in the songs instead of just writing proactively all the time. Or if it's like, cool, we have the songs now, what can we do that's really cool for the music video, instead of just pay our buddy like $200 over the weekend to like look us up with some cell phone footage or whatever it is. Like that kind of stuff. I think it's not necessarily something that we weren't trying to do before, but it was just like giving ourselves the time. I think, like you said, we had always been productive, but I think that for the most part maybe it wasn't always the best thing, because we didn't take that break to like look at what we were doing, or like not do shows for half a year so that we could build up a bit more of like a one from the crowd and that kind of stuff, which I think lockdown maybe did give us. So yeah, we're just trying to like we've actually recorded a new EP that's been done. Well, it's we finished recording and we're gonna start going into mixing now, but we've been sitting on it for almost like 2-3 months. So like, and that is now also giving us even that the normal process is like, shit, you recorded the tunes, get them done, get it out there, get the music video, let's go. But now we're like, okay, cool, like now that it's done recorded, how are we gonna mix it, how are we gonna brief it in, let's take our time with it, let's listen to it properly, let's really spend our time, like let's think so long about what we want to do with the video. who we want to put it out with or how we want to get it out there. And I think doing that kind of thing instead of, you know, just trying to get stuff out all the time. It's tricky because I know with like especially with social media, like
Yeah.
everybody's in this content-driven vibe.
Yes. It's
But
like what quantity over quality
yeah,
sometimes.
yeah, and I think it's tricky if you're in a band because you're like, you know, weirdly enough, it's like we released our stuff like just over a year ago, the last EP, and now it feels like we're already falling behind because it's
Mm.
like, shit, we haven't had something to like do or talk about besides our shows for like almost a year now, and it feels a little weird, you know, especially considering the fact that we used to put something out almost every year.
Yeah.
But I think it's important to like just chill on that and just like give the process the time it needs and really you know, give the songs the attention they deserve because then the end result will just be so much better, and I think then the music will end up speaking for itself more, and it'll get, you know, it'll just get heard more, I guess.
Oh, yeah. Cool. All right. Yeah. Well, so not only productive but insightful as well. So yeah, but now talking about the videos, hell, you guys made a rad one. I think it was, what was the song? Like the crack of the bell was that
Yeah,
the
that
title,
was the
which had
single
quite
off
a
the last
cool
EP.
video.
Yeah,
I mean, that was
yeah. So
amazing work.
thank you. Yeah,
Very good.
that was mostly our bud. Henry, he's a mate of ours that contacted us around the time that we were recording actually, and he's a guy based out in P, but he's in Cape Town for a lot of work, and he's got some nice gear, and
Yeah.
that's also something that we just spent a lot of time on. It was the first time that we kind of went, okay, cool, let's spend some proper money. Let's think about how we can make the video link more closer to the song instead of just making it something cool. Let's like try and use more of the symbolism in the song or the lyrics or whatever and match it to the visuals and make it more cohesive. And yeah, I think it's. I mean, he did a great job. We're super excited to do something again with him on our next release.
Oh, rad.
So, yeah, I think we're gonna start getting that ball rolling soon. So it'll be cool to do it again. Yeah.
Sounds awesome. Cool, man. I'm looking forward to seeing whatever's going to come out of that collaboration
Me
next.
too.
Lekker, bro. And then, yeah, I've also been curious to know, or I suppose everyone would be curious to know. You guys obviously had a pretty solid run of momentum before the lockdown came, and I think that kind of culminated at Ramfest, Cape Town, which was a monster show, and like a week before the world ended as we knew it. But
Dude, can I say something before you carry
sure.
on? Sorry. It was the funniest thing. I don't know if anybody watching this will even remember this, but while we were playing, like I made this comment and I said, everybody better pick up a t-shirt from a band at the back. This is while we were playing.
Yeah.
I said, everybody better pick up some merch because you don't know when you're going to see any live music.
Yeah.
again." And like the whole crowd were like, ooh.
Yeah,
There's like
yeah.
2,000 people just like, dude, how could you say that?
Yes.
People were so bleak with me.
It's your
but then it
fault.
was 2 years. Yeah. It was all my fault.
You
But then
called
here
this
we
upon
are
us.
2 years later, and I was like, yeah, I hope you picked
Yeah.
up the damn shirt.
Yeah. Well, what a legendary concert, and I think especially considering the context of it, because it was a great event, you know, and I think for Cape Town it was quite a landmark because it was the return of Ramfest to Cape Town after I think like about a 6-year break.
Yeah.
And Cape Town was where Ramfest was born, so it was quite significant
Exactly,
that it
yeah.
should come home, and then
Yeah.
poof.
Yeah. Look, it was a really big deal for us. Like, I mean, I moved down to Cape Town about 8 years ago, and I
Oh,
think
yeah, you from up north?
Yeah,
I
so
forget that.
I was born in Durban, but I lived in Pretoria, Joburg for many years. But when I moved down here, literally I think it was like the second or the third weekend that I was here, it was the last Ramfest that had ever happened. So one of my like early Cape Town experiences was coming down and just meeting people at Ramfest and hanging out.
Amazing.
And then and then we started this band, and Ramfest is like done forever. So
Yeah. Oh,
like for
well,
us to
no,
play
not
Ramfest,
forever.
well not forever, yeah,
Yeah.
I guess. But like for us to do it was like it was pretty special for us because it was I considered us a Cape Town band for so long, and the fact that we got to do that
Yeah.
was just really special.
Yeah. No, well, I think that was a magic moment for a lot of us here. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But I don't think Ramfest is done with us yet, eh?
Yeah, I hope
I
so.
think they'll be back for round 3.
Let's hope so.
Yeah. All right. Sorry, if you can just hold on for me one moment. I just want to say a few words on behalf of our sponsors. I'll be
Cool.
right back with you in a second. Right, my friends, as is customary by now, I just wanted to give a shout out to our sponsors who, for a long time, have actually made the Cape Town Festival just that bit more possible for us. That's our friends over at Paul Bothner Music, and they usually sponsor us for our stage with Laney Amplification Backline, Mapex Drums, and for our streaming endeavors, they've helped us out with this awesome Rode microphone and some Roland gear. And yeah, we're really glad that after this 2-year break, they are watching our backs again after the end of the world. So yeah, Peter, I just want to have a last final word with you with
For
regards
sure.
to your trip up to Johannesburg on the 3rd of September. You guys are playing
Yeah.
the sort of closing slot, I guess we could say the like co-headlining slot of that show.
Cool.
Is there anything that you'd like to say about like the significance of this for you or any of the bands you've seen on the lineup that
Yeah.
perhaps you haven't played with before? Give us something from your side about this date.
Well, first of all, I think I might have this totally wrong. I have to look at the lineup again, but I'm pretty sure we haven't played with any of the bands in the lineup, which is cool for us.
Yeah.
And there's 2 bands from Botswana, which is awesome. I've been dying to see Skin from the Rust for years. I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
like, African institution, basically those 2 bands. So very excited to see them, and yeah, we're just really stoked. We love that venue. We love Metal for Africa. We love the people of Joburg. We've always known the whole year that it's going to be a good vibe.
Oh,
It sounds like the ticket sales are going really well. Yeah, it's very cool because like I know you put us on Summerfest at Klein Libertas probably. That was what, probably 6 years ago.
That
the last
would
one.
have been it might have been 2015 January, February, thereabouts. Might have been.
Right.
Like
Yes,
the
that sounds
timeline gets a bit
about right.
blurred in my mind.
No,
but,
that
yeah,
sounds right. That sounds right.
yeah.
And like again, as someone who had moved down from Joburg and had an idea of Metal for Africa, but didn't really understand the inner workings and how the city was working, what the scene was like, and all of that. You just reached out and you put us on that bill, like as a hardcore band full with a ton of metal bands, and it was probably like one of our best shows that we had starting out, as a younger band. And like not only will I never forget that, but that the fact that that show kind of built a bit of a fan base for us in the northern suburbs, which is awesome. And now we get to kind of play this late night slot up in Joburg for one of your first shows up there again. It's really cool. It's very special for us. It's like almost like a full circle moment.
Yeah,
which is,
yeah.
it's cool.
Funny enough, speaking of full
awesome.
circle, we actually did do an M4A show up in Joburg way back in 2010,
A long
if you
time
can
ago,
believe
yeah.
it. And guess who we had on that lineup? We had Rust. So speaking of things coming full
Cool.
circle,
Yeah.
because we had Rust down in Cape Town that same year as well.
Rad.
So yeah, it's like kind of, given what has happened and the fact that we are making kind of like a comeback show, yeah, it's like there's these certain little, let's call it sentimental nuances
For sure,
that
yeah.
we're throwing into the festival.
No, it's great, man.
But I'm
It's
chuffed.
it's definitely something you see like after, I'm sure, like you've seen, like going back to shows for the first time in a long time. There's all these things that we took for granted before then are just like a little bit more special now.
Yeah. And I must say, like, I'm really chuffed to hear that you haven't played with any of those bands before, because like yeah, it's one of our missions to always try and create a lineup that's
That's great.
probably never going to be repeated ever again.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
that's cool.
so yeah, dude, we're looking forward to it. I believe Joburg's looking forward to it too. So yeah, thank you so much for your time
Great
coming to
stuff.
chat with us, give us a little bit of insight. I've always been fascinated with how your band functions. So if anyone else has been, I guess
Barely.
now, yeah. No, but you guys definitely have a certain kind of ethos that has been clear from the early days. So yeah, it's nice to
Thanks,
get
man.
a bit of a like a inside snapshot of that.
Thanks, dude. It means a lot.
All right, my bro. I bid you farewell.
Thanks, Pat.
Cheers for now.
Ciao.
All right, my friends. Once again, I apologize for the audio there. We will get that fixed. I don't know why. Like our first two chats were fine, so I got to get to the heart of this. But yeah, that was Pieter from Peasant. They're going to be playing in Johannesburg on the 3rd of September. They're playing at 10:30. And remember, guys, it's actually an early show. It starts at the first band starts at 4:30 up in Joburg. Doors open at 4, and there's 7 bands on that lineup. Boy, am I going to remember out of my head now. I believe it's Urias, who we spoke with last week, followed by Skinflint from Botswana. And we're going to be chatting with Skinflint next week, I believe Tuesday. And then you're going to get to see Fenris Wolf from Secunda, um, followed by Rust, also from Botswana. And as I just mentioned to Peter, yeah, we had them at M4A like 12 years ago. So the fact that they're still going strong and are still an establishment in their own country and beyond, I mean, that's amazing. So, yeah, really cool band. You don't want to miss Rust. And following them, I believe, will be Resurrection of Fetal Remains, if I'm not mistaken. We'll be chatting with them, I believe, on the following Tuesday. All right, I don't have the schedule in front of me, but we are chatting with everybody, make no mistake. Deity's Muse and, of course, Peasant. Tickets are 180 Rand if you buy them online. You can get those tickets through metal4africa.com, or you can buy cash at the door. That'll be 200 Rand entrance. Cape Town, same prices, same venue as you've always known. And I'll give you that lineup when we chat tomorrow. Who are we chatting with tomorrow? I think it might be Ill System. Cool, guys. Over and out. Thank you so much.